My boss gave me 10 million and told me to marry him on the spot. My job was to put on a lovey-dovey act with him, just to drive off my mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law she'd already handpicked. One day after dinner, I told my husband to cut some fruit for me. My mother-in-law said, all syrupy and sarcastic, "Wow, my son really does whatever you say." I shot her a look. "Don't just sit there, then. Go pour me a glass of water." On the 3rd anniversary of my employment, my boss, Austin Carson, proposed to me. He said, "Marry me, or I fire you." Dude. Could you please follow the basic rules of human interaction? He could not. When he saw I wouldn't budge, he switched tactics and went soft. 10 million. Right to the weak spot. This greedy little snake was slain by the temptation of money. Deal. No wonder Austin was the boss, his time management was downright terrifying. He proposed in the morning, and by afternoon he'd already dragged me to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get our marriage certificate. Forms, photos, stamps, less than half an hour, and when we walked out, I was officially a married woman. This is so ridiculously melodramatic. I held the little red booklet and sighed. Austin looked at me, his peach blossom eyes narrowing slightly. He was handsome to begin with, the kind of man whose peach blossom eyes could look at a stray dog and make it feel loved. The soft egiosal under his eyes made him look even more innocent, and the tear mole at the corner of his left eye gave him a brooding kind of beauty when he wasn't smiling. Honestly? With my painfully average face landing a human-level masterpiece like him, I'd hit the jackpot. "There's something even more melodramatic," he said. "Go pack tonight. Move into my place tomorrow." I'd assumed Austin wanted a shotgun marriage to deal with family pressure, or to cover up some dark secret he couldn't let the world know. Because from what I'd observed, he was afraid of women, but not of men. Just as my gossip-loving soul burst into flames, he added, "Actually, forget it. Bring your brain. I'll replace everything else for you." Wow. Thanks. So considerate. Truly. According to the CEO romance playbook, weren't we supposed to be a polite, respectful couple who kept each other at arm's length, and then either I'd fall for him or he'd fall for me, and we'd get hopelessly tangled up, asterisk through the wind, I'm the sand, drifting to the ends of the earth, star. President Carson, don't worry. Starting tomorrow, if I so much as lust after a single strand of your hair, I'll be reincarnated as a pig in my next life. Starting tomorrow, we have to be lovey-dovey without a shred of doubt. Within 3 steps, you must be in my line of sight. We said it at the exact same time. Why are you not following the script? Why? I demanded from the depths of my soul. Austin leaned down until we were eye level. Those eyes of his looked like a whole galaxy. The corner of his lips lifted. You think 10 million is that easy to earn? Your task, besides acting affectionate with me, is to drive off my mom and the daughter-in-law she's already chosen. In an instant, that 10 million felt like a scorching hot potato. Too bad, I'd already been sweet-talked straight into a trap by this fox. Trying to climb back out now was basically impossible. Of course. The old ginger is always the spiciest. Old men really do have too many schemes. The next day, Austin took me to meet the parents. To be honest, I'm the type with unstoppable social skills. I could make friends with the little yellow dog at the office gate. But Austin's setting for me was a sharp-tongued, spoiled rich heiress. So I crammed overnight every vicious supporting actress in dramas and web novels. Their signature moves were, one eyebrow up, nostrils pointed at the sky, arms crossed, chin lifted, radiating nothing but I am the law. Just as I struck my pose, Austin said, "Did you get a crick in your neck? If you're going to keep holding your head like that, my mom's going to think I married someone disabled." My fist started itching. After working with Austin for 3 years, I knew his toxic tongue trait like the back of my hand. This man was basically a bamboo viper. Within 3 steps, he could spray venom, and no one in range ever survived unscathed. "I'm maintaining my willful rich girl persona," I said. Austin pressed a hand to his forehead. "Stop doing all that weird stuff. Just act normal." Roger that. The moment Austin and I walked in, we saw a luxurious-looking lady seated on the sofa. Austin called, "Flat as ever, Mom." The lady nodded, equally flat. My eyes darted between them. Honestly, the moment Austin told me to drive his mom away, I'd felt something was off. What kind of devoted son actively tries to chase his own mother away? That's not a good son, that's a rebel. Now that I was seeing it in person, it wasn't just that Austin's warmth had holes in it like a leaky padded coat. Mom Carson's maternal love didn't seem to be overflowing either. Rich families are messy. Not something an ordinary mortal like me should dig into. I just needed to finish the mission and slip away. "And this is?" the lady asked, looking at me in confusion. Before I could answer, Austin yanked me over, wrapped an arm firmly around my shoulders, and announced his ownership like he was staking a claim. "Mom, let me introduce you." Her name is Serena Forrest. My wife. Your daughter-in-law. After he said it, he even looked at me, deep, tender, absolutely convincing. I shuddered. When a domineering CEO says, love, it really does make your skin crawl. Mom, I said, pinching my voice into the sugary baby tone I used as a kid. This time, Austin was the one who twitched. The lady finally lost her composure. She stood, stepped closer, and swept me up and down with a cold gaze. Austin, are you joking? What stray cat or dog did you drag in here? Where does that leave Mary? Mary? So this was the hand-picked daughter-in-law? Mom, she's not some stray cat or dog. She's my wife, your daughter-in-law, a part of the Carson family. I hope you can get along in the future. As for Mary, Austin suddenly looked toward the staircase. I looked too. At the turn of the spiral stairs stood a woman with a gentle, delicate air. She wore an ankle-length dress, her waterfall of black hair draped over her shoulders, making her exquisite little face look even more pitiful, like she existed to make people's hearts ache. Wow. I sucked in a small breath. Is Austin blind? He's rejecting a beauty like this? How picky can a man get? At Austin's words, the beauty's face arranged itself into 3 parts sorrow, 3 parts unease, and 4 parts pain, like a living pie chart. Austin twisted the knife. Her illness is better now. She can go home. In my heart, I gave Austin a quiet thumbs up. Honestly, to be this cold and heartless to a gorgeous woman, there truly was no second person like him. That night at dinner, I, an unrepentant foodie, had to stare at a table full of delicacies and not eat. It was more torture than being slowly sliced to death. The atmosphere at the table was as heavy as the Hungry Ghost Festival. The head of the household, Dad Carson, stared at Austin and me with stern authority. Marriage is a major matter. You made this decision on your own, so where do your mother and I fit into all this? Austin's lips curved. He glanced at my mother-in-law. In my heart, of course. My mother-in-law sneered. If you truly had us in your eyes, you wouldn't have picked up this kind of trash and brought it home. Me, the trash. What did I do? I can recite the 8 honors and 8 shames. I've been a model student my whole life. Teachers used to praise me like I was a once-in-a-century treasure, a girl only found in heaven, rarely seen on earth. Mom. Austin's brows lowered slightly. I'll say it again. She is your daughter-in-law. My mother-in-law looked ready to flip the table. I don't acknowledge it. The law does, Austin said, pouring salt straight into the wound. Just as it seemed like everyone was about to start throwing black gold abalone at each other, the white moonlight, Mary, who'd been practically invisible, finally spoke. Uncle and Aunt Carson, please don't ruin the family harmony because of me. She looked like she was about to cry. My mother-in-law immediately turned to her, heart aching. Austin tossed out a line like a bullet. This is our family business. It has nothing to do with you. Why are you adding extra drama? Suddenly, my heart felt balanced. So Austin's mouth cannon really was indiscriminate. I wasn't the only one blessed by his attacks. Austin, do you still have me as your father in your eyes? Dad Carson slammed the table. The lobsters on the tabletop trembled 3 times. Hey, what a waste. That hurts to watch. Austin let out a cold laugh, grabbed my hand, and stood up to head upstairs. Honey, we don't need to eat this meal. He dragged me along, and I kept turning back with every step, tears streaming down my face. Damn it, maybe you're sick of delicacies, but I'm not. Back in the room, my mood sank to rock bottom. But Austin, who'd been slaughtering everyone at the table a minute ago, softened his voice and asked me, were you scared? I looked up with red eyes. Woo, my giant lobster. My black gold abalone. My top-grade Wagyu. Austin looked like he wanted to kill me. I pulled Austin over to sit side by side with me on the sofa so we could discuss how we were going to act out the next scenes. But before we acted, I needed to figure out what was really going on in his family. From what I could tell, I'd already untangled their relationships, at least the rough version. It was something like, Dad Carson liked Mom Carson liked Mary liked Austin liked me, for the performance, and me, was the ultimate elevation of the theme, the true centerpiece of this drama, the C position. Once I thought about it that way, my spine straightened on its own. So what do you want me to do? I asked him. Whatever I say to them, you do the same, Austin said, simplifying it down to the essentials. No fancy techniques needed. I got it. The finest ingredients only need the simplest cooking method. This move of Austin's was brilliant, truly brilliant. Why bother with all that scheming, backstabbing, mansion intrigue nonsense? We're civilized people. I can't out-civilize them, so I'll do the opposite and leave them with no way to defend themselves. I'm not good at showing off. But in a fight? You're not good at it. That night, Austin and I were in the same room. But there was no way in hell we were sharing a bed. Austin said, I'm picky about beds. I can't sleep unless it's mine. I said, I have a herniated lumbar disc. Austin gave me a thumbs up. You win. When I saw him laying out bedding on the floor, I fanned the flames from the side. Oh? Boss, you're the one asking me for a favor. When you ask someone to do something for you, you should at least look like you're asking properly. Don't you think? He set his pillow down, turned around, and shot me a look. That look said, very clearly, if you keep yapping, I'm going to be rude. When we were about to sleep, I asked, your relationship with your mom doesn't seem very good, huh? Was it because he was too naughty as a kid, so he grew up on a steady diet of bamboo shoots and beatings, and now he resented her? But then I thought about it. My mom chased me with a rolling pin when I was little, and I still love her to death. He didn't answer. Moonlight spilled in. It was my first time sleeping in a strange bed, breathing in a strange scent. I was excited and talkative. Boss? Austin? Boss Carson? Carson the toxic tongue? You're noisy. I can't sleep. Talk to me for a bit. Austin still ignored me. I was confused, and when I turned my head, a shadow suddenly fell over me. Austin pinned me down, held my wrist with one hand, and stared down at me. Serena, if you say one more word, I'm going to make this fake act real. Beast. I nodded rapidly, going, hum. In the moonlight, I stared at his clean, elegant profile. His nose bridge was so straight I wanted to build a slide on it. And his open collar, I swallowed. Food and sex, human nature. If he didn't let go of me soon, I was going to lose control. And then who would be handling whom, really? Just as I was about to fully transform into a wolf, there came a knock on the door. Austin and I both jolted. He frowned. Use human language. It's so late, who is it? He flicked on the bedside lamp and rolled his eyes at me, clearly annoyed. A ghost. The knocking stopped, and then Mary's voice sounded outside. Austin, are you asleep? I just made some snow fungus and lotus seed soup. I brought you a bowl. Oh, now we were talking. I was ready for the show. Before Austin went to open the door, he ruffled my hair. I bared my teeth. What are you doing? He gave me a look full of meaning. I may not have eaten pork, but I've definitely seen pigs run. I nodded to show I understood, tugged my collar a little lower, and put on a shy, half-embarrassed expression. Is this good? Austin coughed into his fist. His ears went bright red. He looked away and went to open the door. The door opened, and Mary Patel stood there, gazing at Austin gently. Is this going to disturb you too, coming so late? If you know it's disturbing, why are you here? Austin began spraying venom again. Mary's delicate brows knit together, her eyes instantly filling as if she might cry. Brother Austin, do you really hate me that much? I don't hate your mother, Austin said, pouring salt into the wound. I hate you. I nearly failed to hold it in and almost snorted. I slapped a hand over my mouth in time. Austin remained utterly impartial, a steel-faced judge unmoved by oil or salt. Give it to me. My wife's hungry, anyway. Thanks. He took the bowl from Mary, walked a few steps, then turned back. Oh, and next time, don't come bothering us after 10. You'll interfere with our marital life. He emphasized the words marital life. Mary's eyes turned red. She wiped her tears and ran off. After the door closed, I clicked my tongue. Boss Carson, you might be the least tender-to-beauties man I've ever seen. I really didn't know what Mary had done to offend him so badly that he could roast her straight into the earth's core. And the most terrifying part was, no matter how much Austin despised her, she could still stay in this house. I glanced at Austin's face, the kind the heavens personally handcrafted. Was Mary a hardcore face addict? Want some? He held the bowl of sweet soup out to me. I shook my head in disgust. Do you know why, even if I time-traveled back to ancient times, I still wouldn't want to be the emperor? Because those concubines are always bringing the emperor some kind of sweet soup. Please. If I've already fought my way into being the emperor, can't I just gnaw on a duck in my left hand and a chicken in my right? Austin looked at me like his soul had briefly left his body. How did I never realize your mind was this, unhinged? It's just a bowl of sweet soup, and you're already talking about ancient emperors. Austin complained. Heh. I laughed awkwardly. If you're not eating it, forget it. He set the bowl aside. I clutched my empty stomach and crawled over reluctantly. Fine. She worked so hard to make it. If I don't eat it, isn't that wasting her goodwill? His eyes said, sure. I'm just going to sit here and watch you perform. In the second half of the night, my stomach started hurting. I was sweating all over, barely breathing. Austin. Boss Carson, help. I'm about to die. Austin was tears in his eyes. So I hate her. I opened my mouth, but I didn't know what to say. In the end, I could only pat his shoulder softly, trying to comfort him. Sigh. Every family has a scripture that's hard to recite. Next Monday, there was going to be a grand auction cocktail gala, and Austin had received an invitation. But aside from Austin, the other two all recommended that Mary accompany him. Excuse me? Am I dead or something, the lawful wife? Mary put on that sugary, faux innocent, green teeth act. Uncle and Aunt Carson, that doesn't seem appropriate. Serena should go instead, after all, she's brother Austin's wife. I noticed that ever since I'd come to the Carson family, the number of times I rolled my eyes had skyrocketed. If I kept rolling them like this, I'd roll myself into cataracts sooner or later. Right as she said that, Austin walked in. Brother Austin, you're back, she chirped, fluttering over like a butterfly. Honestly, I almost wanted to give Mary a thumbs up. She was a role model for the rest of us, knocked down 100 times, still charging back up 101. Austin treated her like air, sidestepped her, walked straight to me, bent down, and kissed my forehead. Bro, could you give me a little psychological preparation first? After kissing me, he even affectionately flicked my nose. Did you miss your husband today? I felt like I didn't need 10 million to buy a mansion anymore. With the amount of secondhand embarrassment I was experiencing, I could dig one out of the floor with my bare hands. If you're acting, you act the whole set. I pinched my voice into a coquettish whine. Aya, hubby, people are watching. This is so embarrassing. Oh my god. Taking this 10 million was basically dying of social embarrassment and cringe at the same time. My mother-in-law stormed off in anger, made it halfway, then turned back. The Carson family has status. At next week's gala, you must bring Mary. I don't want the Carson family's face being dragged through the mud by her. Back in the room, I was trembling like a leaf. Austin instantly dropped his devoted husband persona and frowned at me. Did you grab an electric fence? I kept trembling. No, just now, acting with you gave me full-body goosebumps. I need a minute to calm down. He didn't speak. He just advanced on me step by step. What are you doing? As he backed me onto the bed, I had nowhere left to retreat. I lifted a hand to block his chest. He caught my hand instead and pressed it right over his heart. His clean, handsome face was inches from mine. A grown man with lashes that long and thick, lips naturally red, a nose bridge I could build a slide on, damn it, he was literally carved into my aesthetic preferences. I sighed to myself. If only this weren't acting. Serena, he said softly, you need to get used to it, okay? Used to what? I blinked, my throat suddenly dry. He didn't answer, but his gaze dropped to my lips. I immediately covered my mouth. Bro, have mercy. That's my first kiss. At the words, first kiss, Austin's eyes flickered, and he looked pleased. He tugged at his tie and curled his mouth. Oh? Oh what, exactly? Is it shameful to be 25, single from birth, with your first kiss still intact? It is not. I kept muttering, Mary is way too obsessed with you. I honestly admire her. Back in college, if I'd had that kind of persistence, I would have already landed my crush. The moment I said it, Austin's face went long as a donkey's. You had someone you liked in college? At the time, I had no idea I was dancing in a minefield. I was eager to share my whole secret crush saga with him. I chattered away forever, but he didn't make a sound. Hey, did you have a girl you liked in college? I was gossiping hard. I couldn't help wondering what a cold, sharp-tongued Austin looked like as a teen, secretly pining for someone. None of your business, he snapped, giving me a look. I clicked my tongue. With your personality, even if you're ridiculously good-looking, no girl could stand you. Only Mary's a weirdo. 10 million. Okay, boss, I'll shut up. You're dazzling like the sun, radiant like starlight, anyone would fall in love with you. Flattery delivered on time, money deposited on time. That night after my shower, Austin didn't make the floor bed. Tonight, I'm sleeping on the bed, he said blandly. Why? His mouth lifted into a mischievous smile. This is my room, my bed. Why should I sleep on the floor? Then he sprawled across half the bed like he owned the place, which, unfortunately, he did. He'd just showered, there was a faint lemon scent on him that had my mind wandering. Seeing me standing there stiff as a plank, he laughed. What, are you afraid I'll do something to you? I stared at the well-proportioned body under his pajamas and swallowed. No, I'm afraid I'll force myself on you. That night, I tossed and turned and couldn't fall asleep. With a gorgeous man right next to me, if I could sleep peacefully, I'd basically have reached nirvana and could shave my head and become a monk. By the 56th time I turned over, an arm slid across and wrapped around my waist. Instantly, I was like a fish on a chopping board, pinned, unable to move. What are you doing? Don't move. His warm breath brushed my face. If you keep moving, I can't guarantee what I'll do. I ground my teeth. Animal. He chuckled low, patted my hand. It's late. Sleep. You could at least be an animal properly. I shot him a vicious glare, grumbling in my heart, he's not even as good as an animal. There's a saying, when the green tea wants to stir trouble, she does it quietly. All day today, Mary and my mother-in-law had been unusually quiet. So quiet that it made my skin crawl. I was afraid they were about to shoot cold arrows at me from the shadows. Just as I was hesitating over whether to warn Austin, Mary came to see me. "Serena, I want to talk to you." "Sure," I said, suddenly remembering my vicious rich heiress persona. I crossed my arms and lifted my chin. "How much per minute are we talking?" She still looked gentle and pitiful, all soft and fragile. "Do you want to know why Austin hates me so much?" That evening, when Austin came into the room, I emerged from the bathroom with my hair hanging loose, wearing a white nightgown, and said behind him in a ghostly tone, "Austin, you've deceived me so badly." Austin didn't even flinch. His mental fortitude was terrifying. "What are you doing, losing your mind in the middle of the night?" He blow-dried my hair while raking his fingers through it. "Trying to scare me to death so you can run off with my assets." "Ow, ow, gentler," I yelped. "Stop abusing the few strands of hair I've got left." After my hair was dry, I was a pretty girl again. Austin stared at me, dead on. He stared until I got goosebumps. Only then did he clear his throat and ask, "What now? What are they up to this time?" I hate beating around the bush, so I went straight for it. "You used to like Mary, didn't you?" The instant I said it, Austin's handsome face sank like he'd just eaten several pounds of, well, you know. Silence was as good as admission. So Mary hadn't been lying. Back in college, Austin and Mary were in the same department. Mary was delicate and weak, like a little white flower, calling him Austin Sr. this and Austin Sr. that all day long. Austin was a hot-blooded young man whose first feelings had just sprouted. Before long, Mary had taken him down. Just when the two of them were wrapped up in each other, disgustingly affectionate. Austin discovered that Mary was very close to his biological mother. After that, Austin's attitude toward Mary did a full 180, from liking her to despising her. I still remembered what Mary had told me, the more he acts like he hates me, the more he cares about me deep down. "Serena, you can't squeeze into our world." She was wrong. I wasn't unable to squeeze in. I simply wasn't qualified to. I was just an actress hired to do a job. Only, somewhere along the way, as I kept acting, I ended up throwing myself into it for real. I fell in love with Austin. "Austin," I said, "even though I've been bickering with you non-stop, today I'm sincerely advising you, don't let your grudges with your mom make you miss out on love. You and Mary clearly like each other. There's no need to turn it into mutual destruction." Why? Just thinking about it made me want to cry. These days, all my public displays of affection with Austin, Mary must have found them hilarious. I was just a tool, and yet I'd acted with such relish. "Austin, let's get divorced," I said. "Next week's gala? I probably can't go with you." He reached out to grab my hand, urgent. "Serena." I dodged his hand. Tears flashed in my eyes and vanished. "Austin, can you please leave me the last bit of dignity I have? Don't crush it all. How am I supposed to live after that?" In 1 month, I got married in a flash and divorced in a flash. The upside was, I got 10 million. The downside was, I traded my first love for it. My best friend stared at my account balance, eyes wide as bells. "Next time there's a deal like that, you have to call me." I rolled my eyes weakly. Don't take jobs like this lightly. Look at me, heartbroken and physically wrecked, and I even became a twice-married woman. My best friend's face lit up with gossip. "Holy, did you too, do it?" I shook my head. "No. That just made me even more resentful. At least sleep with him once, right? That would have made it worth it." Such a miscalculation. And then I thought, maybe after my whole mess, Austin would realize that although he acted disgusted by Mary on the surface, he actually still loved her deep down. So I ended up being their emotional litmus test. The next day, I came home drunk and saw a giant mushroom squatting at my door. I kicked it. The giant mushroom grunted and stood up. "Serena, what the hell is wrong with you?" When he smelled the alcohol on me, his brows knitted. "You've been drinking?" I spat venom straight back. "None of your damn business." My stomach rolled, and I bent over and puked my life into censorship blocks. A big hand patted my back gently. Austin's worried voice came from above. "Are you okay?" I wiped the corner of my mouth with my sleeve and snorted. "None of your damn business." He looked helpless. "Are you a broken record?" "None of your damn business." "The passcode." "None of your damn business." He smacked my back, hard enough to make me hiccup up alcohol. "Talk properly." 080620. He helped me inside, and at a glance, he spotted the massive human-shaped statue. The corner of his mouth twitched. "Who is that?" "My husband, James," I said. Above my head came the sound of teeth grinding. Then Austin let out a cold laugh. "Your husband's name is James?" Otherwise what, Austin? I shot back. Austin choked so hard his face went red. Austin made me so bring tea. After I drank it, I made a deeply inhuman request. I'm hungry. I want luocefen. Pick something else. Either you sleep with me, or luocefen. He stared at me, unmoving, his eyes darkening little by little. Then he suddenly smiled, pushed me down onto the sofa, and looked at me with amused eyes. Serena, so you're that hungry for my body? With alcohol flooding my brain, I yanked him down. You got it right. I'm damn well hungry for your body. When I woke up the next day, I wanted to jump off the building. Austin, meanwhile, lounged against the pillow, looking perfectly satisfied. Serena, you slept with me. You have to take responsibility. Bro, what kind of ancient, cheesy CEO romance is this? Don't switch the logic on me. Who slept with whom? I'm the one who got the short end of the stick. Oh? Is that so? He tugged his collar down. No idea which wildcat scratched me like this last night. I buried my head and played dead. After a few minutes of silence, we said at the same time, Austin, are you a sugarcane man? Let's remarry. He frowned. What's a sugarcane man? Clearly, this old fossil didn't know the internet term, so I made something up on the spot. Oh, it means a man who's sweet, tall, and handsome. He lowered his head and started searching. A few seconds later, expression blank, he read aloud, sugarcane man refers to a man who's very sweet at first, but once you spit him out, he's nothing but fibrous dregs, sweet at the beginning, trash at the end. I'd miscalculated. He walked up to me, his eyes soft and warm. Serena, so in your eyes, I'm a scumbag? Aren't you? I accused him with my eyes. He sighed. Serena, you're already an adult, and you still think with your feet. Who are you insulting? From beginning to end, I've never liked Mary. My first love, the tips of his ears turned red. Was you, Serena? Do you think I'm 3 years old? I snapped. He answered instantly. At most, 1. You believe what Mary says, but you don't believe what I say. Do you not understand what closeness versus distance means? Austin rattled on, complaining without pause. A few words from her and you back down. If this were ancient times, you'd be a traitor. Since when did you start talking like you're from the Northeast? For a moment, I didn't even know which point I was supposed to react to first. Was it the part where he'd never liked Mary at all, or the part where his first love was me, you? I stuttered for ages before finally forcing out a sentence under his expectant gaze. Old man, you're kind of a late bloomer, huh? Honestly, I nearly got put through it again by him right then. Austin ground his teeth. Serena, if you keep letting your mouth run loose, I'll make sure you understand that old men are not only late bloomers. And just like that, I went back home with Austin. Because his reasoning left me no way to argue. First, the acting job wasn't finished. You already took the 10 million, does your conscience really not hurt? Second, do you really have the heart to let me keep living in that house, in deep waters and blazing fire? Sigh. Old men like him, once they start playing the pitiful card, a perfectly decent young woman like me has absolutely no defense. When Mary and my mother-in-law saw me return in defeat, their faces turned into stones at the bottom of a cesspit, stinking and stubborn. Mary finally couldn't hold it in anymore and asked softly, Austin, didn't you and Serena get divorced? Austin gripped my hand tightly and looked at me with gentle eyes. Can't we remarry? My mother-in-law practically hopped in place. What? You remarried? Austin, do you think marriage is child's play? Well, yes. Not only did he treat marriage like child's play, he treated the Civil Affairs Bureau like it belonged to his family. Divorce, remarry, divorce, remarry. If it weren't for the fact that he was handsome, they'd have kicked him out a long time ago. Austin smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. It's still better than you forcing someone I hate to stay by my side. The person he hated immediately burst into pear blossoms in the rain. Austin, do you really have no feelings for me at all? Back then, we liked you? Austin mimicked my way of speaking. Give it a rest. There's one kind of person I hate the most in this world, those innocent little white flowers who pretend they're harmless. Mary, don't you think you resemble a certain elder? Inwardly, I gave Austin a thumbs up. 1 sentence, 2 targets. Impressive. Truly impressive. Oh, right. He added lightly. If Mary hasn't left this house by 3 p.m. then Serena and I will move out. Austin, are you rebelling? My mother-in-law finally snapped. The calm mask on her face tore apart, and she looked like a terrifying witch. I gave birth to you, so you have to listen to me. Austin let go of me. I grabbed his hand instinctively, afraid he'd say something reckless in the heat of anger. You gave birth to me and didn't raise me. What right do you have to control my life? Austin's voice was sharp. You step on other people's lives to enjoy yours, don't you feel any shame? Why you? She clutched her chest, trembling all over. Unfilial son. Unfilial son. He looked like he was about to keep going, but I held him and shook my head gently. In the middle of his fury, Austin met my gaze, and immediately softened. He squeezed my hand back. I can't stay in this house for even one more second. Austin meant what he said. He took me to his other apartment in the city center. I felt sorry for him, and I also felt like there was no need for a family to tear itself apart so uglily. I wanted to persuade him, but seeing his state, all I could do was ask, "Do you want me to make you a bowl of noodles?" He looked at me. After a long moment, he said softly, "As long as it's not luocefen." He was still clinging to that luocefen joke. After I moved in with him, it was gourmet dishes every day, mountains of seafood and meat. It actually made me miss luocefen and stinky tofu. So, while his family wasn't paying attention, I secretly used their kitchen and cooked a pack of luocefen. After it was done, I was afraid Austin would find out, so I hid in the bathroom of my room to eat it. But the second Austin came home, he started gagging and asked, "Serena, are you in the bathroom eating poop?" I made him tomato and egg noodles. As he ate, he muttered, "I used to love the tomato and egg noodles my aunt made. She knew I liked soft yolk eggs, every time, she fried them perfectly." Sigh. I'm really not good at comforting people. So I patted his shoulder. "From now on, I'll cook it for you, okay? As for soft yolk eggs, I'd probably need to practice for a year or two. My cooking was only so-so." There was a shimmer of tears in his eyes. "Serena, thank you. Hey, we're brothers. No need to be polite," I said, swaggering as I gave his shoulder a hearty pat. He lifted a brow and let out a warning hum. I shrank my neck, brushed off imaginary dust from his shoulder, and corrected myself in time. I mean, husband and wife. No need to be polite. Only then did he look satisfied and continue eating. There's a saying, even a tiger won't eat its own cub. But in the Carson family, that saying didn't apply. The day after Austin moved out, Dad Carson called a board meeting, citing negligence at work and other reasons, and fired him. A president of a company, reduced in an instant to an unemployed man and a penniless pauper. I held on to my 10 million and felt ridiculously excited. Could I keep him now? Just imagine me lifting his chin, flashing a wicked smile. "Come on, Austin, smile for your daddy." "Heh. I was wondering when we started raising geese at home," he said blandly. "Turns out it's just you laughing." I immediately reined in my grin and put on a tragic expression. "Austin, don't worry. Even if you're now a broke pauper with nothing to your name, I will never leave you. I'll live and die with you." He raised a brow. "And how exactly am I a pauper?" I poked his chest. "Your dad kicked you out of the company. They took back your shares." He patted my head. "Serena, you've been by my side for years. How is it you've grown meat but not a brain? Did he just diss me again?" He shot me a sideways glance. "Do you think I wouldn't prepare 3 burrows like a cunning rabbit and leave myself a way out?" A few days later, my mother-in-law came to see me. The moment she arrived, she went straight to the point. "I'll give you 10 million. Leave Austin." When I didn't react, she turned up the heat. "Serena, if you truly love him, you should think for him. Without the Carson family, he's nothing." I almost laughed. "Not everyone who gives birth to a child deserves to be a parent," I said, lifting my head to meet her eyes. "What did you say?" "Mom, I respect you as an elder, so I don't want to say anything too ugly. But search your own heart, do you really feel no guilt toward Austin? You gave birth to him, but you didn't want him. His aunt raised him. When the two of them depended on each other to survive, you suddenly appeared. For your own wealth and status, you forcibly tore them apart, so much so that they ended up separated between life and death. Mom, tell me, is any of that even human?" She still refused to yield. "Even if I didn't raise him, I never treated him poorly. Where do you think his food, clothes, and everything else came from? My money. So that means he deserves to be controlled by you for the rest of his life?" I smiled. "Honestly, I'm also glad Austin wasn't raised by you. If he had been, I probably wouldn't have fallen for him." When I finished, I couldn't help applauding myself. I'd finally learned how to insult someone without swearing. "Well done. Beautifully done." As I left, she said behind me, "You'll regret it." I shrugged. "Regret what?" "We just removed a tumor that was disgusting to begin with. We should be setting off fireworks to celebrate." After the new company was registered, Austin started hiring. I thought, as a founding employee, the least he could do was make me a director, if not that, then a department manager. Instead, he wanted me to be his assistant. His personal assistant. I had a whole string of obscenities in my head, and I didn't know whether I was allowed to say them out loud. But then he said one sentence, and I instantly went obedient again. "I'm not used to anyone else being beside me." TSK. Chairman Carson, newly enlightened, tossing out sweet lines as naturally as breathing. And he really was exhausted. One day he even went more than 24 hours without sleep. I dragged him into the bedroom by force. No more work. Sleep. He let out a soft laugh and pulled me down with him. Together? He held me. I breathed in that lemon scent on him, and his voice sounded above my head. Serena, do you know what the luckiest thing in my life is? What? I asked quietly. In a hoarse voice, he answered, in my life full of scars, I met you. You made me understand that life isn't only hatred and pain, it also has hope and joy. I looked at him. Why are you suddenly so sentimental? Sleep, he said, turning away awkwardly. I covered my mouth and laughed quietly. He fell asleep fast. I tucked the blanket around him, looked at his gentle, obedient sleeping face, and patted his back softly. Austin, from now on, you don't have to be afraid. You have me. On the day our company opened, we specifically invited my mother-in-law and the others. We had no choice, my husband and I were petty, narrow-minded people. We had to discuss them. What I didn't expect was that Mary came too. She still wore that pitiful expression, like the whole world had wronged her. When she saw Austin, her eyes filled with tears, and she looked ready to cry. Austin, she began. Austin cut her off. Today is an auspicious day for Serena and me, our new company's opening. Bad luck is taboo. If you cry and my company has problems later, I'll come looking for you. At the side, I played the good cop. Honey, it's a joyous day. Don't be so fierce. Besides, a guest is still a guest. If she's a guest, Austin said, relentless, then she can offer a blessing. Mary clenched her teeth. Then? I wish your company prospers. Austin smiled. Actually, I don't mind if you add a few more lines, like wishing Serena and me to have children soon, and grow old together in love. Mary couldn't take it anymore. She turned and left. I clapped for Austin. If you lived in ancient times, you'd be a palace intrigue expert. Wait. If Austin could deal with Mary so easily on his own, why did he ever hire me to act with him in the first place? Unless, he'd already had his eye on me? TSK, little rascal. You hit it deep. My mother-in-law hadn't expected Austin to survive after being pushed to the brink. Her face twisted with anger, but she couldn't quite explode. I sent Austin to greet the important guests, and I handled her. Mom, are you here today to bless Austin? I asked with a bright smile. She let out a cold laugh. Just a small company. How long do you think it can last? Is that really a mother? Most mothers ache for their children and hope they do well. She, on the other hand, treated Austin like a tool from beginning to end. She wanted to control him. Too bad, she wouldn't get her way. My smile didn't fade. I looked at Austin's busy back. No matter how long our company lasts, whether the future is success or failure, wealth or poverty, I will never leave him. Before she left, I said to her, Mom, from beginning to end, you never understood what love is. Dad Carson's love was numb and cruel, he could abandon even his son for the woman he loved. Mary's love was childish and arrogantly self-assured, clutching what never belonged to her and building fantasies out of thin air. And Mom Carson, she had no heart at all. After that day, Dad Carson, Mom Carson, and Mary never harassed us again. Once everything settled at the company, Austin suggested, let's go on our honeymoon. I shot him a sideways look. We haven't even had a wedding yet. How are you skipping straight to a honeymoon? Someone gave me a wicked smile. Because I heard honeymoon babies are the smartest. This man was a wolf, luring me step by step into the wolf's den. And yet I went willingly. I pinched his cheek. Tell me honestly, why did you make me help you act? Austin was solemn. Wife, have you ever heard sayings like, the one near the water gets the moon first, rabbits love the grass by the nest, and fake becomes real? I tugged at his cheek. Stop dodging. In college, what exactly was going on between you and Mary? Austin sighed. You're still stuck on that. Even mentioning it makes my goosebumps stand up. My gossip soul burned bright. Spit it out. After hearing Austin's version, I clicked my tongue. I patted his shoulder with deep sympathy. Bro, you really suffered. Back in college, Austin didn't even know Mary. Later, he accidentally discovered that Mary knew his mother. After that, Mary began actively pursuing him. He didn't like her type to begin with and rejected her clearly, but she only got more determined, launching a full-on, chase the guy campaign. Yes, chase the guy campaign is my phrasing. Have you ever watched It Started with a Kiss? If you have, you know how insanely persistent the heroine is when she pursues the hero. But that's sincerity in exchange for sincerity. Mary, on the other hand, was directing and acting her own show, bringing the green tea spirit to its absolute peak. Austin, meanwhile, was the kind of person who shut out the world and focused only on studying. And yet the whole school somehow knew he and Mary liked each other but were too shy to say it, and everyone was cheering for their CP. Austin wore a dead-inside expression. Honestly, if I didn't know your aunt's character, I'd genuinely think women are terrifying. I held back my laughter and comforted him with exaggerated sympathy. Then, Brother Austin, in your next life, maybe don't be so attractive and invite so many bees and butterflies. He pinched my cheek. It's fine. In this life, it was enough to lure you here.